as early as next week. I'm Skylar Henry on Capitol Hill, where Congress passed a new massive coronavirus relief bill.
The NBA tips off tonight in a new season of play outside the bubble. And a look at how drive-through light shows are brightening spirits across the country this holiday season.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The Trump administration says your $600 pandemic relief checks will start arriving right after Christmas. This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Tanya Bach. The checks will be in the mail soon, and that's the word from the Treasury Secretary following congressional approval last night of the long-awaited second round of coronavirus economic aid. Skylar Henry has the latest from Washington.
The Trump administration says pandemic relief checks will start arriving right after Christmas.
People are going to see this money the beginning of next week. So it's very fast.
The motion to concur is agreed to.
Congress passed a nearly $900 billion COVID aid package late last night after months of fighting. $600 checks will go to individuals who make less than $75,000 a year, or couples making less than $150,000. There's also an additional $600 per child. Individuals who make more than $75,000 but less than $87,000 will receive reduced checks. For couples, the benefits completely phase out at $174,000. The White House says President Trump will sign the bill, but the massive documents must first be put on parchment paper and reviewed by administration lawyers.
I personally think it's long past due. Millions of Americans have been waiting for some type of relief for a long time.
While many people are welcoming the help, some feel it's too little, too late.
This has been so mishandled. We have no idea when it's going to end. And so these Band-Aids and these little stopgaps are not acceptable.
Lawmakers admit both sides had to make compromises. Democrats and President-elect Joe Biden say they will propose a new round of relief in January. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
The Joplin Health Department lays out its plan for COVID-19 vaccine distribution. Health Director Dan Pekarik told council members last night the city is still in phase 1A, and that's where healthcare providers receive the vaccine. That's happening at Mercy Hospital, where staff received the Pfizer vaccine last week. Long-term care facilities will start receiving vaccines soon, with most in Joplin getting them from CVS and Walgreens. CVS says they'll start vaccinating in the state on December 28th. After that, in phase 1B, essential workers will be vaccinated, and the Joplin Health Department will need to play a larger role. Pekarik says they're currently figuring out how to make that happen.
Our emergency operations plan that's already in place before the pandemic ever hit for this kind of an event does call for us to utilize partner agencies in the community, and we have those. We've already started those conversations, so we're quite sure that we'll have assistance from our partners in the community.
Pekarik says the health department is also looking into adding additional staff to make that happen if additional grant funding is made available. Well, Joplin police respond to a fatal crash this morning on Murphy Boulevard. It happened just after 7 north of the Broadway Viaduct, and that's where officers say an adult male had struck multiple light poles and overturned his vehicle into the creek. He was found dead inside his car. His name is not being released until family can be notified. Well, it's a lot warmer now than it was last weekend, and it should be for Christmas, that's for sure.
Oh my goodness, coming off of what was our first day of winter, this is our first full day since we had the solstice yesterday early morning, and we're already pushing up around 60 degrees here, Tanya. Freeman Health System sky camera in Joplin, normally we would be about 46 degrees during our peak heating hours. We're already in the low 60s, and that is thanks in part to a good south wind. SKYWATCH storm tracker, clean and clear as can be as the wind arrows move in from the south, and we see as warm as 64 right now in Welch, 62 in Lamar, and 63 in Chanute. It's been impressive. There's a reason that wind advisory kicked in early this morning, and another reason that it lasts all the way until 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. Now, speaking of tomorrow, as we progress through the night, we will see a little cloud cover increase for the afternoon hours, kind of slows down looking at the old day after the conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn. But more importantly, how about some early Wednesday morning rain that develops from the southwest? Quick hitter, small little band, moves right through. But look at our temperatures on the backside of it as we continue to drop. It is going to be a chilly Wednesday night into Thursday. As a matter of fact, we're talking about dipping below the freezing point as we head toward the Christmas holiday. Coming up here in just a little bit, Tanya, we'll take a look at our wind gusts. Also, fast forward, see who in the nation is going to have a white Christmas by the time everybody wakes up for Christmas Day.
That's right. Got a lot to talk about. Thanks, Michael. Well, the NBA tips off a new season tonight, but there are concerns with how the season will proceed in the pandemic. Last season's bubble effort was successful with no positive COVID cases for 96 days. As Errol Barnett reports, the 72-game season is going forward without fans and with strict protocols for players, coaches, and team personnel.
The Los Angeles Lakers.
This was just 2 months ago, the Los Angeles Lakers championship celebration, capping the longest, most unconventional year in league history.
We had 0 positive tests for as long as we were here.
But this season, the NBA is doing everything it can to replicate that success outside a bubble environment. To help prevent the spread of COVID, the NBA released this 158-page memo to its 30 teams, detailing stringent protocols for players, coaches, and team employees, including twice-daily testing and intense contact tracing. Team violations can lead to fines, suspensions, adjustment or loss of draft choices, and game forfeitures. But there are no criteria dealing with when the league may suspend play.
We think with the combination of all these tools that we're going to be able to quickly isolate a player who tests positive. If that's not the case, we're going to have to rethink our protocols.
This year, coaches and players will be the willing guinea pigs in the season-long experiment. But despite so much unknown, many believe the league has their best interests in mind. The Miami Heat's Andre Iguodala is vice president of the Players Association.
What is the fear level among some other players now about not just contracting the virus, but perhaps transmitting it to others?
Sometimes fear can be a good thing. So, that puts every player in a position to make sure that the environment is safe.
Commissioner Silva says he has no plans to require the vaccine and will not allow the league to jump the line. And we'll get our first sense of how the season is going Tuesday night when the commissioner hands championship rings to the Lakers out in LA. Errol Barnett, CBS News, Memphis.
Commissioner Silver also pointed to the economic urgency of gameplay, citing the tens of thousands of jobs that are dependent upon the NBA. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next at KOAM News at noon, holiday lights.
With many holiday traditions canceled this year, families are finding new ways to celebrate. I'm Nancy Chen with how drive-through light displays are brightening up the season.
And later, a tasty way to spruce up one of your holiday side dishes. We're making Parmesan potato stacks in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. This holiday season, many are trying to find creative ways to celebrate while staying safe. Nancy Chen shows us how families are flocking to drive-through holiday light displays as a festive alternative.
It's not unusual to have a sold-out night at this holiday light display in Westchester County, New York.
It was the best light show.
With as many as 1,500 cars passing through a bright and socially distanced winter wonderland.
Especially with COVID going on, it's a nice, safe way to get families and kids out.
The Westchester Parks Foundation has organized the holiday attraction for the past 6 years, usually with performers in an ice skating rink. But this year, they turned their lights into the main attraction.
We're seeing people coming in multiple cars with friends in other cars and really just celebrating the season together.
The pandemic-friendly setup requires families stay inside their cars once they're on the route, keeping a safe distance from everyone else. It's precautions like those making displays like these popular around the country.
There's millions and millions of lights.
In Southern California, the rides at Six Flags Magic Mountain are closed, but the amusement park is hosting its first ever drive-through experience.
I love it. It's so much fun.
Oh, it's awesome. They did a beautiful job.
And the lights are on at LA's Dodger Stadium, with cars taking a lap around the home of baseball's 2020 World Champions. Of course, a guest appearance adds some extra sparkle.
And I will see you soon. Merry Christmas.
A glimmer of light at the end of a twinkling tunnel. Nancy Chen, CBS News, Valhalla, New York.
Organizers say the light shows are a way for families to still make memories together and perhaps even start a new tradition. Still to come on the KOAM News at Noon, Mr. Food.
When it comes to the holidays, I believe in all sorts of things. Santa, flying reindeer, and the tasty side dish we're whipping up today.
First, Michael Hayslip returns with the complete forecast.
Two words to describe this gorgeous, gorgeous morning and afternoon that we're having. Number one, warm with all the sunshine. Number two, oh my, hold on out there. It is a windy. We'll start by talking about our temperatures. No, we're not going to quite challenge the record of 71 from December 22nd that dates back to 1982. But tell you what, get out if you have the chance and check out the conjunction from December 21st. That was the official one, of course, with the solstice as well. Well, this is from our good friend Emmett Sullivan. He took this, need to get out between about 6 and 7, or about 6:15, 6:30. You're going to have your best one. Look at this. Got Saturn to the right of Jupiter. Got the moons coming off of Jupiter right there. Absolutely gorgeous picture. But here's the problem. We're going to have some cloud cover that's going to build. If you do get a peek of it, though, it's going to be a whole lot warmer than what it was last night as well. Our temperatures ranging from 64 in Miami and CJ, 63 in Chanute, and 58 right now in Aurora. Let's transition to our wind talk because we've got an advisory, and it's no surprise that we've seen gusts of 33 miles per hour in both Joplin and Independence. Nevada checking in at 34. The impressive thing about this advisory is how long it lasts. Usually after sunset, we see the wind die down a little bit. No, this thing rolls all the way until early Wednesday morning. And at that point in time, instead of it moving in from the south, that's when we'll see the shift come, low pressure work in, and also deliver us a cold front here just in time for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. We're not the only ones fighting the wind. As a matter of fact, we've just got an advisory. These are high wind warnings indicated in pink. And then up here, oh, you've got a winter weather warning, and that's evidenced by the time we pay attention to the jet stream here and give you an idea of all this snow that's going to work itself out of Big Sky country and along the Canadian border. That's going to stick around for them until Christmas. They'll definitely be white as their temperatures are only in the 20s. But since we get below the ridge of the jet stream right here, above average temperatures, and of course we're also absorbing a whole lot of warmth from the south with all those winds. The Midwest really isn't going to see a whole lot of action here for the holidays. It's really going to take place on the other side of the Mississippi River with all the cloud cover up to the far north and even our nearest clouds out in western Kansas. Just absolutely gorgeous just about anywhere you have to travel. Now the cloud cover is going to increase a little bit as we get into the nighttime hours. That's why I said maybe a little bit difficult to see Jupiter and Saturn tonight compared to what we saw last night. And then as we work into the morning hours, and not only windy but also too, we'll see the development of a little precipitation. Future track will show us it'll work from the southwest out to the northeast right here. Really not going to get on us until Wednesday morning. It's going to be a quick hitter. We're talking about accumulation numbers, maybe 1/4 of an inch. Certainly nothing severe. Not going to take away from any of our travel at all. And because look at this, by mid-morning, whoop, we're done. Snow, all that stays to the north. Now watch the temperatures. Yeah. That's when it gets a little interesting here as far as Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. But as far as the snow, if you're wondering who's going to get that white Christmas, well, it's really going to be the Tennessee and Ohio River valleys, as it'll be on them pretty much just during Christmas Day and Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. But for us, if you do have to travel at all, it's going to be absolutely perfect.
I know, it's going to... You couldn't ask for better travel conditions throughout the holidays.
No, that's the thing,
really
and I know
nice.
everybody wants the white Christmas aesthetically, but as far as traveling goes, this is the safest.
Yes, and we like that. Everyone to be safe. Thank you very much, Michael. We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Army Staff Sergeant Eric Troth in the U.S. Air Force. The soldier hails from Mound City, Kansas. He served with the 891st Battalion, Company A in Iraq. To Staff Sergeant Eric Troth, we thank you, our four-state hero. Ever cook potatoes in a muffin tin? I haven't. Well, Howard shows us how to delight your dinner guests with his recipe for Parmesan potato stacks in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
When it comes to the holidays, I believe in all sorts of things. Of course, I believe that Santa knows who's naughty and nice. I believe in flying reindeer, and I believe that the holidays are best when celebrated with family and friends. I also believe that no matter how good our main dish is, we still need a side dish that really stands out, like this one. We begin by thinly slicing some potatoes and placing them in a large bowl along with some melted butter and a bit of salt and pepper. After they're coated, we stack them in muffin tins, like this. Now we let those sit for a sec while we warm up some heavy cream that we season with a bit of garlic, rosemary, and a little nutmeg. This gets poured over the potatoes, filling each cup about 3/4 full. A sprinkling of Parmesan cheese goes on top. After these bake for 30 minutes or so, we'll let them sit just long enough to set up. There you have it. Layer after layer of tender as can be potato slices, bathed in one of the most flavorful cream sauces you've ever tasted. The only way to get this recipe is to go to our website and search for Parmesan potato stacks. And if you do it today, you can enjoy these for Christmas. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found this goes with everything kind of way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Well, you can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our 4 state market prices.
Nice and warm this afternoon. Remember, we do have a wind advisory for southeast Kansas lasting all the way until 4 a.m. Wednesday morning. Speaking of Wednesday morning, that's when a little light rain rolls through. More importantly, its cold front on the backside of it takes us below freezing each and every night towards Christmas. Now over to Dow with a look at what's coming up tonight at 5.
Yeah, at 5, some of the nation's top health officials, including Dr. Anthony Fauci, roll up their sleeves today. We're going to look at the effort to build confidence in Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine. Plus, more people are buying online versus in person this year, placing an increased demand on shipping services. We're going to take a look at what some of those agencies are doing to ensure packages get where they need to be before Christmas. And the family of a Parsons, Kansas hit-and-run victim talks about his recovery and the search for answers. Those stories, a lot more coming up on KOAM News at 5.
All right, thanks for joining us for KOAM News at noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.